We're going to get to the theme. I want to tell a little story about something that I'm pretty proud of, and it relates to our QHHT practitioners. So I get a lot of people that are super curious about QHHT, and they come to me and they want to have deep conversations about it. And so sometimes I don't really push too hard and say, you got to do this, you got to do this to my inner circle of friends. I don't have to. I never ask people, and in the level two, I don't teach people as practitioners to have to ask,
Right,
you want to do a session with me? You want to do a session with me? There's a
right.
process by which, just by speaking and being yourself, people are so curious that they want to explore. So the
Hmm.
same holds true for any of my friends that are interested. I simply put it out there. I mentioned some of our great practitioners that we have that are relatively close in Florida. And there's one particular one, the level three, that they went to just this week. And I didn't know that my friend was going to go. I didn't know that he actually took the initiative to like jot down the name and to go on the site and to research. So he did his independent research on this. And I just saw him now in the elevator. And I said, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, "I just worked out for the first time in 4 years." And he's like, "I woke up with so much energy." He said, "I'm losing this extra weight and I feel super alive." And
Oh,
and and I was like, and I just had a previous conversation with him last night when he said, "I did it. I went and I finally got a QHHT session done." Or he didn't even say finally because this was a relatively short amount of time. He said, "I got a QHHT session done." And he had this amazing experience. He didn't know what to expect. He said, "I've done some other stuff, tried little plant medicine, done this. I dabbled my fingers and my toes into the spiritual waters, and I didn't know necessarily where it would go with this. I didn't know if this was like ayahuasca. Like a lot of people ask that, is
yeah.
QHHT like ayahuasca? Am I going to trip, throw up, do all these different things?" And I did tell him it's very gentle. It's super gentle on your body, on your mind, on your heart, everything. And he's like, "Yeah, you told me that, but I don't really know. Like, I still was wondering. I was a little worried. Was I going to get hypnotized and then never come out of it?"
Common concerns, common questions.
Common concerns. I say, "Hey, listen, it'll take you a significant amount of time to get into that state. An induction alone, 20, 30 minutes, something like that to get into the state. And even this beautiful interview before where your practitioner is going to get to know you. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen in order for you to get into this beautiful state. And you'll get out of this state in a matter of seconds. Like it is like
Mhm.
10 seconds and you're out, as opposed to minutes and minutes and minutes and minutes to get in. So you don't have to worry about that." And he told me, he's like, "You're not going to believe this." He's like, I, I went and I had this past life, and he was talking about how he was a warrior, but he was like a mean warrior, and he took his job really seriously, and he was describing all the intricacies of this like super hyper masculine energy that he was exuding in this life. And I could tell in this current life, he's releasing a lot of that, and he's welcoming in more of his softer side and his divine feminine side. And I see how the SC provided him with this archetype of what the pure male masculine energy does when it's running rampant without a check, without a balance of the divine feminine.
Yeah.
And he was attacking some people and he's killing some people, and it was just like a almost like a joy in that purity. But it came down to sort of break him down, ended his life prematurely, got his arm cut off. He's missing that arm. And there were so many lessons. That was just one thing, but literally there were like 10 different things that came forward in that lesson. And the icing on the cake was, I mean, he understood his relationship, he understood his job, he understood his relationship with money, he understood the scarcity. And most importantly, this is like kind of the top of the pyramid in terms of if you can get this too, my gosh, grand slam. He had healing on his back, and he heard the popping in his back. He's always complaining about his back, and he heard his back going into alignment, and it was always bothering him, always getting these pinches. And he was very much in control of this process where he was consciously aware of how he energetically was fixing his body and getting everything working. And he said, was pausing and telling the practitioner, "No, no, just wait. I'm working. We're working on it." And so it's like this beautiful active role in his healing. And then to get the validation that his back feels fine, he's working out, he's lifting, He's losing the weight he wanted to. He's motivated. It's just so nice. I just had to say this.
Yes.
It's just such a reconfirmation again and again of how beautiful this is and what you can get out of it. You can get exactly what you need out of a QHHT session every part of your life. And
Yeah.
it's so beautiful. It's so good.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, yay. So excited for him.
And I tell my friends when they go in, I say, if you do go in, just go in. You don't have to mention me or anything. Sometimes it's even better if you don't mention me to whoever's the practitioner. Then it's just because it's not about me introducing you to anybody. It's about you and your personal experience. And the only thing that I care about is that you understand and you can actually get a little taste of what that beautiful connection is to your higher self.
Yeah.
And once you get a taste of that without the ego kind of stepping in the way, it is absolutely so magical and so transformative and such a beautiful thing. And to get that relationship back on track.
Absolutely. And then getting these answers, getting that perspective. I mean, that's huge. That's because it's always like we make these great big things out of our situations, and they're mountains literally. And when we go into a session, it shows us, it gives us a perspective that of what it really is. And it's like, or where it's coming from or whatever. And it makes it something where it's so much more manageable. It's usually not anything. It's something that we are creating, and it shows us that. And it's like, you've dealt, and that's why they'll show other, like, you've dealt with this before, you've done these things before, and probably worse. And that's where it gives you some perspective of, this is nothing. And so beautiful angles, different ways that they will give answers and help so much with your current situation.
Yeah. And here's another thing that's kind of common because these are kind of questions. My friend was so excited about it. He's like, yeah, felt so good about it. I feel the energy about it. Like, you think I should do this plant medicine session over the weekend? It's like amplify it because I'm just feeling open right now. And I was like,
No.
just sit with this and listen to your session multiple times and
Mhm.
get the most out of it because
Yeah.
when you're in it, it's one thing, but there's this beautiful period afterward where you're energetically still working on stuff and you need to allow that without interrupting that and putting stuff in there that could kind of mesh up the process.
Yes.
It's
Yeah, because
meant to
you're
be.
processing. That's a good point to make. You're processing. I know mom would say 3 days, but easily 2 weeks, you're still processing, easily. And many times it takes a year to fully see a session unfold and whatever was said or whatever was happening in there. Sometimes it's a year for some of that to happen because you're shifting and changing. And that's where some of the things that are being told to you can't happen until you are shifting and are becoming that same frequency and vibration. So that's where you will see it unfolding. But keep listening, keep listening. That holds your vibration high.
And these stories are so fascinating. I mean, I never get bored. I never get sick of it. Every single story, I'm gripped when someone talks about their session. It's
Mm-hmm.
so interesting. He was talking about the warrior and one particular thing when someone challenged him and he took that challenge and he ended up like crushing him and crushing his skull. And then he learned his lesson. He was so aggressive by how he was saying it. He's like, but then he cursed me. And then, and the funny thing is, like, to on the outside in, talking about this to someone else, it might have seemed kind of crazy or far-fetched, but I was kind of like, yeah, well, things happen. And actually, the curse in and of itself, there's more to the curse than that. There's even more in that. And we can dive even further into that, into what that actually is and how the warrior could process that. And you can go down these rabbit holes of your sessions and analyze and go deeper and deeper and deeper and connect so many strings to your current life in terms of what you can get out of it. It's
Yeah,
remarkable.
yeah. There's layers. There's layers to the sessions, and that's why yeah. And every time you listen, you're going to probably go through another layer because as you're progressing and you're evolving. Then see that's what I mean by you keep moving and shifting. Then you're going to there'll be another layer to the message. It will apply in a different way. So that's these sessions are powerful. They are so cool. They're
I
not just
mean,
one. Okay, let's have another one in a week or whatever. No, you're processing. That's what I mean by that processing time, and you're still shifting and changing and growing. Allow yourself that beautiful process.
This is so common too. We talk about it in the teaching, we talk about it a lot, but again, it comes up, right? It's like I said, you have to listen. Like,
Yep,
I want you to go on a walk tomorrow, go on the
yep,
beach, put on the headphones, and just breathe and just listen and just enjoy the movement and just see what happens. See how this energy comes. See what ideas are
yeah,
sparked.
yeah,
See what happens. He's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you told me that because I my thought was immediately after it, okay, I did it, I got it, and that's
yeah.
it." It's like there's a part of me that doesn't want to listen to it. There's almost he felt almost an internal struggle. We could feel a mechanism saying, "Okay, I got it, it's done." What's that? What's happening there?
Yeah, the conscious mind taking back over control. And that's what it does every time. No, you don't need that. We know it. We got it. Remember it. Yeah, got it. Done. That's what the conscious mind does. And it's just a matter of, it's okay, conscious mind. You don't have to feel threatened. Let's just go ahead and listen. Let's see what else we can find. It's, yeah, the conscious mind does that.
Conscious mind does
But
that.
it does. It wants to say, yeah, got it. Done. Over.
And I said, do me a favor, like 5 times, make me a promise. You'll have to listen to it in its entirety 5 times and give yourself breathing room and contemplation afterward to actually let the energy. And then you're committed to taking action on what your higher self wants you to do. And you're just willing. You don't have to think you have to accomplish whatever
Yeah.
your higher self is telling you. Don't feel pressure that you have to. You should feel good about yourself knowing that if you even take a few steps in the right direction of what you're being told is best for you, that there'll be these invisible forces and guides and things that'll be helping you to move forward. So it's going to be easier than you think it is. But the only way, or one of the main ways that you block it and make it harder than it needs to be, is by placing expectation and dread into it.
Yeah.
Like
That's an assignment.
creating
Uh,
emotional resistance before it needs to be there when it's something that's pure energy coming from the higher self.
Yeah, and the cool thing is when you listen, so you're right back in that same energy. So it's like having another session because you're right back in there. And that's why then more healing happens. So whatever was happening during the session, more healing will and can happen. So, if you love the feeling that you had, that's how you do it. You just listen to it. You'll be right back in there.
Yeah. And so, just to finish up here, I said, so what do you think you experienced in the end? How would you sum it up? And he's like, well, I didn't think it would be like this, but healing. And I
Hmm.
said, well, what kind? He's like, every kind. It was
Hmm.
like emotional healing, I think like spiritual healing and the physical healing. I think of like healing all this stuff, relationship, family, just stuff I did with it. It's just all coming together and all healing all at once in this one day. It's like, that's
Yeah, things you
right.
don't even expect, things you're not thinking about. You think, oh, this is my issue, but that issue is probably related and impacting so many other things. So that's right. When that one is being addressed, or these others are being addressed, it all affects everything. And that absolutely healing on every level. I mean, hello.
Just magical. Yeah, I had, there's no way that I could experience that and not bring that up to you guys as to what's happening because it's just another so clear synchronicity to me about how beautiful this is, how the world, the universe, and our lives have allowed us to be in this place to where we had this almost cheat code of life, to where
Mhm.
we had this opportunity to get just pure divine wisdom and connect to ourselves in the most beautiful way. And it's here for us now. And we have this tool in welcoming in the new earth. And it's just, it's mind blowing. And, this is like, I've been going on 6 years that I've been, working, collaborating with Julia around the world and doing this stuff. And I'm like, I feel like a child. I feel like it's day one again. I feel like I'm a child and I'm like just learning everything again right from the beginning. It really is that it's emotional, it's incredible. I love talking to people about this. It's such a beautiful brain state form of existence to meet people in this place and to talk to them in a meaningful way about the stuff that really matters in their life in this world of trivial information that's coming in out of our ears every second, to just meet people in that super important place of where they are, listen to them, and allow them to connect with the best part of them. And if we do this with our lives and we do this consistently on a day-to-day basis, we're doing so much good for the earth. We're doing so much good for this life. Our guides are so happy. It's like everything is clicking on all cylinders when we're in the zone. Just it's a beautiful time to reflect, and it makes me so grateful to have found us, all of us together.
Yes. Very nicely put.
And it's a beautiful time now with the equinox, and I think the equinox is starting like now. We have a sale going on. So anybody that wants, if you thought about becoming a practitioner, now's the best time. We have our fall equinox sale. It's going on right now. So you could go on the site. You get our best prices of the year. You could check that out if you're not a practitioner yet and you've thought about it. So I think that maybe it came to me with the equinox and my friend and the divine synchronicity, because it's going to change our relationship for sure.
Hmm. Oh, yeah.
Um, it does. Anyone you have a session with, if you're a practitioner, as their client, forever your relationship has changed with them. And anyone that you do a session with as you being a client or you being the person under, your relationship with them changes. And it changes in a very positive and meaningful way. So yeah, just had to get that all out. It was a lot of stuff.
It's expansion. It's growth and expansion. It's not stifling. It's not, I mean, you are helping people to, like we say so many times, you are helping people to see who they really are. I mean,
Mm,
that's expansion and that's growth on all levels. What a
absolutely.
wonderful way to help people.
Absolutely. So we were going to now shift a little bit because we'll cover some of this, and we'll cover, it's been a super popular topic. We'll dive into it now. Star seeds, and the buzzword now, it's gaining a lot of traction. Before, maybe 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, people were like, huh? What the heck is that?
No, 10 years ago it was, let's see, 10 years ago would have been 13. No, it wasn't. It may have been starting to pop its head a little bit, but it was like, and people were like, kept asking mom, they're like, well, what do you think about star seeds? And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't call them that. And now it's like everybody, star seeds, we're all star seeds. But it was like, there wasn't a term. And I guess it just came out of, description, people feeling like, okay, this, and it might be what they're called. I don't know. But people like to put labels on things. So I'm going to come with that practical approach because my mother and I thought a lot alike. And it's like, do we really have to have a name for everything? So I'm going to be always with that, but I understand it's a big word. It's a buzzword. People like it. They resonate to it. So, okay.
Yeah. And what do you think? What do you think it's connected to?
See, he's like, it's definitely, well, see, this is why I'm always wanting to bring it back to down to earth, literally down to earth. Is, this goes out, and mom talked about this, the 3 ways of volunteers. We have all these people volunteering to come in, these souls, coming in to help raise the energy of the humanity that's on the planet. The earth is changing its vibration. The people on the planet need to change their vibration in order to shift with the earth, to go with the earth. And so this was needed because the energy at that time when all of this started happening was similar to your friend's session, very violent and just not thinking of the bigger picture, and it was a lot of destruction, and it was really headed down a very scary road. And so it was like, if these humans are left to their own devices, they could very well blow up this planet. And that was the big concern. We do destruction to the planet, and they can tolerate that to a certain extent. Mother Earth doesn't care for it because, hey, she's a being, and it's like, I'm letting you guys live here. I'm letting you be on me. And if you notice, she throws little fits every so often to kind of shake people off. I know I'm going down another road here, but But that's where it was like, okay, if we can get higher vibration here so these people understand what is actually happening, then that will really help. Because the vibration of the humans that were here was very, it had gone through eons of death and destruction. Okay, so we'll just leave it there. So the call went out because it's like these people are going to blow up this planet. We cannot allow that to happen. That could not happen. This is where you don't have, we have the law of non-interference, and that's across the board. Other dimensions, galaxies, everything, they cannot interfere. They can answer and they can help us when requested, but they cannot step in and interfere unless we're about to destroy the planet. That's a big one, because if we were to do that, then that would have reverberating effects not only on our galaxy and our dimension, but on all the other galaxies and all the other dimensions. See how that, and solar systems and universes. See, so how it cannot be allowed. You cannot allow something like that to disrupt the cosmos. So that's where the call went out, and it's like, look, we need help on this little planet. It's in danger, and so we need help raise the vibration. So the call went out for volunteers, and that's where that came from. At that point, Mom was just seeing, it's like different waves. She called it waves because it was like different characteristics of groups that were coming in, of souls, and so she just called it like waves that were coming in. And then but their main purpose was to raise the vibration of the humans that were already here. So with that happening, so that's what this is tied to. I think later, she just called them the waves. And that's, we have the first, second, and third waves, and people are still trying to make other waves, but it's really, it's a wave. It's a new soul. It's souls that are coming in, not necessarily new souls, but souls coming in, either have not ever been on Earth before or have been in other dimensions. They're coming from other places, other higher vibration places here to raise the vibration of the humans. Okay. And then people say, well, yeah, they're star seeds. That's where it's tied to. It's okay, these people are, but really, to me, I think that's where that term is coming from. But to me, star seeds can go back further, because when this planet was created and it was seeded, literally seeded by, the creator beings, they were seeding the planet from places from all over the universes and galaxies. So that's why I have a little thing of like, it's like, don't just put it to this. It's like, really, if we look at it, we're probably all star seeds, because we were seeded from other places. Humans did not, it was an evolution that happened here, but it was a seeding. It was that combined it. So we've got to look at that. And that's where I like to kind of get it back to some of those things, because here's what I see happening a lot. And I feel like this has no place in this realm, and what we're doing is I see happening is like, well, if I'm one of the waves, I'm a first wave, I'm a second wave, I'm a third wave, that I'm special, I'm better than you because I'm a wave. I came here to help you. I'm this, or I'm a star seed. I'm a this. And it's like, that's where I want to kind of get it back to reality. And that's where it's like, we're probably all star seeds. So here, let's just level that playing field. And not one single one of us is more special than another. We all have these wonderful abilities. These things have been lying dormant because of these energies that are coming in, probably from these souls. So thank you very much for doing that, for helping us and everything. But because of that, I don't know where I lie in all this. I don't know if I know a lot of my life. So I've been here. So it's like, that's people, oh, you must be a starseed. In that I was probably landed here, yeah. A wave? I don't know, because it doesn't match with all the things that, what Mom was finding. Oh, first time here. I have many lives here. So see how it's like, to label something is kind of counterproductive. Okay, so star seeds, let's just put it's the higher energy. It's where we are as a humanity. We are raising our vibrations, and that's what's really going on. And as we do that, we're uncovering all these abilities that we have that have been lying dormant in us all this time, and now they're opening up and they're waking up, and we all have this. There's not one, oh, just a certain select group of people that, oh, hey, we're special because. No, we are all special. We all have this, and we are all here for the same reasons. We are all here to help each other. And by doing that, we help our planet, we help our Mother Earth, and she supports us. See, then see how it becomes an what's that term? Is it symbiotic? A symbiotic relationship where we are helping each other. Is that the word?
Yeah. Yeah.
Feels right.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's rather, I just see this a lot. I'm sorry, guys. I just see this a lot where it's like, oh, I'm this. It's like, and I get where it comes from. And we want to feel special. We want to feel like I belong to a special group. But we don't have to do that. You don't have to do that to be special. You're already special. You're already wonderful and beautiful, and you have these abilities. Embrace them. Embrace what's happening. What you have may not look like what somebody else has. And so that way it might be a little bit difficult to acknowledge it. It's like, oh, I don't have abilities because I'm not doing what this person's doing. Embrace what you are doing. And as you do that, then you open up even more. You're like that rose and the flower, just, how the rose has so many layers to it. And it just, each one just keeps opening, and it becomes this great, big, beautiful rose. That's what you are. Allow your petals to start opening up and and see, there we're back to the authentic. Be you. Be who you really are. Embrace what you have. So I hope I didn't completely annihilate everything you were going to say, Kaya. But those are my thoughts on it. That's where I see this, and I'm like, we got to get out of that. I feel like it's not necessary. It's not productive to be in some of those frames of minds to think those thoughts.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, that's a really cool tangent that we are exploring there within that. And I think someone in the chat said it, and it resonates really well. They said labeling causes division,
Yeah,
and the division causes the problems, right?
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
it made me think about a lot of political doctrine that's rising up in the world. And I'm not too much into politics, but I like the psychology of politics are interesting to me. And there's this undercurrent that populism has where someone's always saying, well, the immigrants are coming and you're not safe and follow me and I'll protect you. And that's a super common thread
Yeah.
amongst all these like governing councils or body of people that have their tentacles on how groups operate, right? And it's so silly in that the sort of like fear mongering and what that really does. And it's pretty clear when you see it or when you hear it now what's happening. And I just advise everybody to just be as independent thinking as possible and take stock of their own thoughts in terms of how they look at someone that is different than them and think of any preconceptions. Like now, okay, this is where this all comes together in a magical place, right? We are talking about star seeds, and we're all immigrants here.
Mhm.
We're borrowing the earth because we're here from somewhere else. We all have DNA here. We all have energies here from somewhere else, from other galaxies, universes, planets, stars, all those things. And we've seen this time and time and time again in QHHT sessions. And I know this for a fact with me because I've felt it with my higher self. I've talked about my life in
Mhm.
Palladian, Sirius, Arcturus, Lyran cat, like the cat human people, Orion, like darker times, a polarity that's coming back, and like these civilizations that keep popping up in sessions. So it's super interesting how there's these parallelisms uh, impacted in modern day society. And part of us becoming the interdimensional species and interplanetary species is to go exactly the opposite direction that some of our leaders are trying to get us to go. So instead of going a direction of, I'm part of this group is better, prevent all other groups. See, that's going to stop us
Mhm.
from the interaction. That's going to isolate us. That's going to create more loneliness, more withdrawal, and not bring us in that heart energy that's going to be a magnet into fulfilling what our star seeds have done. Because here's where we're getting interesting. This information's coming to me. I certainly didn't think about this logically. Is when you think about a seed, what is a seed? Things like you plant the seed and it eventually grows and it springs and it flowers and it provides oxygen. It does like these amazing things. So the seeds are being planted and our springing and our growth optimally into the beautiful flowers that we are as a civilization is meant to completely expand and transcend into this beautiful, beautiful being that we are, that is purely functioning on light energy, that is part of a greater ecosystem, that is often interconnected underneath the soil, under the roots. And we become, the human beings are part of this beautiful species that is self-sustainable, that is in complete harmony with nature, that is completely functional, autonomously, and beautiful in its own existence, but also very much part of something that is greater and is feeling that and is connected to that. And that's sort of what we are as our seeding and what we're meant to manifest. And when something comes in that's to the contrary, that's where we need to call upon our ability for discernment, because we are getting happier as a society. We have the capability for being happier and happier every day and increasing our joy, our happiness, and our health. And I read some statistics last night, but for the first time, we're getting statistics that are showing that the life expectancy is actually going down. So we have all this marvelous
Mhm.
technologies and information that's being shared about how to eat, how to exercise, how to be in community, and we're seeing these statistics going down. And I started watching this series on Netflix called The Blue Zone, and everybody, because like 20 people told me that I have to watch it because it's on longevity, and longevity is one of my passion. Literally, like every day I'd get a message of someone telling me you have to watch The Blue Zone on Netflix. So I'm like, all right, I'm on it. I'm on it, guys. It's it's super interesting in how these societies that have really healthy, long lives where the individuals, the humans live in to be 100 and they're like, they look good, they're moving around, they're thinking, they're doing super cool stuff at 100. And, the brains are really switched on and they're happy and they have friends and they have these commonalities that they're basically in these communities that are a bit isolated, whether by mountains or islands, and they kind of isolated themselves from the modern world that is full of stuff that is kind of yucky that'll decrease that. And these communities had this all correlation. What the main takeaway there is that they grew their own food more or less, or they touched their food. They didn't eat any of the stuff that's processed or go shopping in those middle aisles. It's like they touch their food, they see where their food is coming from. A lot of them cultivate it with their own hands, like their own lettuce, their own carrots, their one community is their own sweet potatoes that are like a beautiful color. And they have all these wonderful anti-cancer things that they properties that they have in them, and they show them like cultivating this food. And even in Italy and Sardinia, they have this society where they're eating bread and they love the bread, and they're eating bread and they're living to be 100. They're like, this is a good formula. And it's because the bread is not processed and it has certain types of bacteria that's in the sourdough
Mhm.
that makes it actually healthy. So it's like it just makes you sort of rethink about how you're living and connect. And I'm already very well aware of this, but I'm very happy when now we're seeing more information like this put out on a grander scale, because they're just reminders of the more you can live cleanly, that's not in a place of pollution around polluted air, polluted water, and you can get back to nature and feel your nature and then have a sense of community around your nature. It seems to me that that was the winning formula that was logically projected with this show. And in this channel, we talk about the spiritual connection to all of this. And it just makes sense that the seeding, you get closer into the true seeding or the plant life or the outdoor life and just getting connected to nature, you're more in touch with your own seeding and you can learn a lot from just going into places that are a bit more full of that nature and just reconnect and just see what that does to your mind, body, and spirit. It's pretty cool. What's that, Julia?
Like here.
Yeah, all right. She's saying like here. Well, please elaborate.
Yeah, I live right in the middle of the woods. I'm in the country. I'm in a small community. I'm out and I mean, now where things can invade if I let them is our TV and internet and all that, because I can get information if I choose, if I want that to invade my life. But I choose not to have it there. So, but otherwise, yeah, it's all this. And then I'm growing my own food. I mean, it's just a few things. I don't have the wherewithal right now to grow everything, but it's really fun. And I think, like I've talked to you about this before, it's like there's a fun thing about it, seeing something grow, just seeing something come from a seed, come from nothing, and then it becomes food for you. I mean, it's amazing. And then yeah, I mean, how much it's really neat to know that, I mean, there's no pesticide, there's nothing on this. I mean, I grow it completely. It's in a greenhouse. I don't have to, I'm not concerned with bugs or anything, it's all in there and it's all natural. I love it. And then everything around me, I'm constantly reminded about abundance of nature. When you live in the woods, you are always reminded about how abundant everything is. There's no question about it whatsoever. And that's always something we always say, like when you're wanting to manifest, people want, it's like to get out of that lack mentality. And I know this is shifting, but it's to look at the abundance of Mother Nature. You can't miss it when you're in the woods. Everything is abundant.
Yeah, that's so neat. It's so, so neat. So
You're
yeah,
able to do something like that. That's great. This is where the universe put me, and I'm glad I'm here.
absolutely. So now we'll hop into some questions. Oh, a lot of positive comments. We appreciate them. We appreciate them. Yes. Yes. Okay, Nicole. Nicole Classe Couture says, "What about the ones that don't wake up? Why are they here?" So I think that's getting back to the question, Julia. You get the gist of it. The gist of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and see that's so many layers. It's from your perspective that they're not waking up. So and that's where you have to know that there's a larger picture, there's a larger thing happening, and from where you're looking at it, it's like, and this is funny because I was just thinking about this yesterday, and how from my limited perspective years ago, I could not understand my ex-husband. Now I was like, oh my gosh, he has so far to go. And I remember, so this goes right along with it. I don't know why this even came in, but long ago, I was into numerology. Mom and I were doing that. And so it's like when there's some master letters, and he had these master letters in his name. And I'm like, how can that be? He is so oblivious. I was like, there is no way he's a master. Well, see, that was coming from my very limited perspective and my judgment. and but when we look at this, and we look at the bigger picture, because he was, you know, when you look at everything happen, it's like, and when you make that statement, it's like, oh, there's no way they can have an awake bone in their body because of how they're behaving. But they are in our lives. Many of them, they're playing a role to help us wake up, to help us grow and develop. And they're just playing their role, and they're playing it really, really well. They might not be aware of it in another place, another time. They are completely awake and open, but it's just in our lives, this role is for us. They're helping us. And so they're playing the completely asleep person so that we will wake up. Isn't that wonderful? But yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I love. And this is what I love about QHHT, because it gives you different perspectives like that. And it shows you abundantly that judgment has no place in anything. And they're always saying, you got to get rid of judgment. Fear and judgment are two major things you've got to let go of. No judgment zone. No, we can't tell where someone else is on their path and on their growth. Cannot tell. And they've shown that to us. Remember, there's that one picture I draw in, I think it's in level 2, and they're showing about the levels, where you might hit when you get to their higher self. And somebody that we might think is completely asleep and completely shut off might go to a very high level, higher self. And someone that is, we're thinking, oh my gosh, they understand, they're so grown and awake and everything, and they may not go to that high. And that's where you can kind of tell where they are in their growth process. But the beautiful thing about that, what that taught me, was on this physical plane, we cannot judge. We have absolutely no idea. People are playing roles all the time. So we cannot tell by the role they're playing where they truly are in their path and their awake state. Let it go.
Let it go.
Hmm.
Let it go. There you go. Wow, that's very thorough. Very, very thorough answer to
Big
that.
answer.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, well, yeah, lots of. Yeah, great. Okay. Ali Na says, how do I step into my power? I've opened up my own little healing center and work from home as well, but I'm scared to look for clients. I feel like an imposter. I've had years of training and I feel like this is my true calling, but how do I actually do it? Hmm.
That's a good question, and that's a common thing. In fact, if you look in, oh gosh, in some of the different business courses and just courses in general, like as I was developing my Soul Speak course and trying to learn how to create it and stuff like that, over and over they talked about the imposter syndrome. And it's like, feel, how can I teach? Am I ready? I don't know if I know enough about this and everything. And it's like, so it's a common thing. But it's like, I guarantee you, you know more. You already said you know your stuff. You know it. So it's going out and it's baby steps. Don't think you have to know everything. Don't think. I mean, and they said if we just need to know, like, we can be one step ahead of others and be able to teach them. That's really all that you have to ask of yourself. So that's the technical part. It sounds like you are much further down the road than probably a lot of people as far as what you have to teach. So it's really just start somewhere. You will be, it is scary. It is scary. Period. You're putting yourself out there. I get it, but it's so wonderful when you do. Just stay in with your heart. Don't think, oh, I got to make this and I got to do that and I need to make so much money. Let all that go. Just be in your heart, and you have something that you want to teach the people that are ready for you. Remember, we said at the beginning of the show, they'll gravitate to you. Be your authentic self. That's you stepping into your power, is you being you. And then the people that are ready for you will come to you. And then they will support you. You'll get what you need to go forward, as far as like the positive vibes or the testimonials or whatever, to help you feel like, oh my gosh, maybe I really do have something that's worthy, that's worthwhile, and it has some value here. So that little things will build that part of you. But just stay in your heart. Just be you. That's coming in really, really strong. Be you. You don't have to be anybody else. And that's where that imposter thing comes in, is because we think we have to be something else. You already know how to be you. Just keep being you
Yeah.
and step out
And
there.
and yeah, and to kind of dive into that and add on to that is something that was really magical for me is when I learned to just completely trust the inner voice and the inner guidance that I had.
Yeah.
And when I really committed to being in my flow and using my passion and my excitement as my barometer by which action to take. And what I mean by that is if the passion, I wake up and I feel an inclination, like today's a day when I really need to get down, I need to do some important writing, and I initially feel that, then I need to move forward with that and trust that instead of having something else get in the way of like, oh no, maybe I should go and look for a flight here, or oh, maybe I should just like check Instagram, or oh, maybe I should just see what my brother's doing. Let me check out, find my where my brother is, or things like that. There's always going to be distractions, but the best thing that you can do to get past that imposter syndrome is to actually do stuff to take steps in that direction. Because once you start actually stepping in that direction, it builds momentum and confidence. So the more steps you take and the more trust you have in the information that's coming to you and your path, the more progress you're going to make, and those voices will be silenced. And you just have to learn to say, I am who I am for a reason, and think about that to yourself. I'm here for a reason, and this time around, I'm being compelled to follow that reason. And if you keep telling yourself that, and you put that in your head every single day when you wake up and every single day when you go to sleep, I am who I am for a reason. I'm meant to do what I'm meant to do here for a reason, and I'm going to take action in the direction of my reasons. There's a natural light and a natural energy that's going to push you forward, that's going to transcend whatever those egocentric doubts are, because in and of itself, that sense of anxiety that you have over someone else judging you and saying you're fake, you're an imposter, I've learned this from somebody else, you copied them. First of all, understand that Einstein said this, that no one is creating anything authentically from scratch, that everything is simply a copy of something else with a slight little spin, with an extra little twist. That's all we're doing, is we're just curating concepts and ideas and then putting them out to the world. No one is ever creating a completely 1000%, every morsel of every atom of it is original. No, we're using our resources and we're combining things that work. And we're putting our unique signature vibration into things. And the end result is you. So trust, understand you're here for a reason, and try it for a while to just simply tell yourself those things and see the magic that comes through. I am who I am for a reason. Right? You are. You have a reason for this life. You have a purpose for this life. And your higher self is going to dictate to you by following your passion what you're meant to do in your moment to moment to moment. It's going to give you all the confidence you need. You just got to learn to trust it and program it, keep reprogramming it into your mind, and then just keep other people's opinions out as much as you can, because the higher self's goals and desires for this life isn't meant to be contingent upon other people's thoughts, wishes, or wills. It's meant to be for you. So just understand that. You're on a beautiful path. There's no such thing as...
Congratulations on opening your center.
Yes, there are no imposters out there. It's a fake thing. Everybody has their own unique vibration that they add to anything. Even if you take a script and you have a script, you actually reading a script a little bit differently gives you a vibration, gives you your own unique vibration. So you take that, like QHHT practitioners, some people freak out and say, oh my God, there's more practitioners out there. That makes it competitive. Oh boy, no. There's only one of you. You're going to attract who you attract. You're going to have your sessions like you're going to have your sessions. You're going to have your inductions like you have your inductions. You have your unique voice. You have your own signature. You have your own vibration that's unique. You have your own way that you answer questions. You have your own way that you make people feel good about themselves. You have your own way that you do everything. And no one can compete with you with that. So understand that's very, very powerful. And you're going to succeed. Just believe. You're in the right place, the right time. You've checked in. Here we go. New Earth. Time for liftoff. Let's do it. And on that note,
yeah,
there we go. What's going on, Julia? Let's just re-emphasize what is going on. We talked a lot about QHHT sessions today and what's happening with this fall equinox.
Yeah, we have a fall equinox sale going on. So go to QHHTofficial.com and see what you can get there. We have level 1 and level 2 are on sale. So yeah, really good. We also have our retreats coming up, Ibiza, Spain, in just 10 days. I mean, that'll be October 4th to the 9th. Maybe more. I don't know if it's more. It's probably about, it's like we leave like this week, a week from this weekend. So
yeah,
really close. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Thailand also. So these are amazing ways that we can all get together, and we have the coupon codes on, like for Ibiza, it's 5D Bliss, and for Thailand, it's Dream Trip. And that'll get you discounts off of those retreats. So exciting. It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful way that we can all get together and help each other, and just be with like-minded people and raise our vibrations. That's what these retreats are all about. It's us being together to help raise each other. So
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Check out the QHHT official website. If you wanted to check out the courses that are on sale or you want to see our retreats, just go there now. Check it out. See if something interests you. Now's the best time. All this stuff's happening. A lot of energy. You've got the power of the fall equinox working with you. You've got that portal working. So hop in that energy and see where that energy wants you to flow. Check it all out. Have fun. And I would love to see you in person someday. If it's not in Ibiza, it's not in Thailand, it's going to be somewhere. Like
Mhm.
we should meet and hang out and have conversations like these because this is awesome. And you are awesome. Much
Mm.
love.
Very cool.